Hello everyone and welcome back again. Now in this lesson I'm going to explore with you what polygons are, okay, and I'm going to show you some principles of modeling. I mean, just a small introduction to modeling, in fact not principles, it's going to take a little bit longer than that. And by the end of this lesson you're going to have a good idea how to model an arbitrary object or whatever. You can just model whatever object you like. And but of course the good practices and everything gonna come into play later on once we start seriously modeling one of the, for example, car or anything. I mean, seriously modeling an object, and I'm gonna show you techniques and good practices of how to model a 3D model. Okay, so let's get started. Now of course, from the previous lesson we already know how to navigate the scene, so I hope that you know how to do so. So hold the Alt key and left mouse button click to rotate or to orbit around a certain object or point of interest. Holding the Alt key and right click, and you can dolly in and out. Alt key and the middle click to pan the camera. Okay, now what are polygons? Now polygons are, by the way, usually when I click on a cube and I drag for the base and drag for the base and then make up one, I could actually click on a cube, hold on the Shift key, and with the left mouse button and click, and then you can get a perfect cube without even the need to draw a base or anything like that, in case that you would like to get faster. So a polygonal object is just a bunch of points connected together with certain lines, in fact it's called edges, and the area between the edges is filled in, and then you can get something which is called faces. Okay, so this is what the polygon is about. So if I bring up MS Paint right there, hang on a second. So there you go. So if I grab here, so basically you have a point. That point, sorry, hang on a second. Let me give it a better try, and I would in fact use a brush over here. So you have a point. That point, by the way, is called vertex. The plural of vertex is vertices, so it is not vertexes. Okay, it is vertices. And you have another point, and let's say another point which is going to be a vertex is called vertex. Okay, these three vertices, or the points, okay, called again I'm going to call them from now on vertices, or vertex for singular. These vertices, once they are connected by a straight line. Well, apparently I have to apparently I cannot even get a straight line out of Paint. So basically imagine those are the straight lines. These straight lines are called edges. Okay, so this is an edge, this is another edge, and this is another edge. And once you fill in the space in here, okay, this space is called a face. Okay, so this is what all polygons are. And in order to prove it to you, if you hold on the right click, so right on the mouse, right click on the mouse, and just keep the mouse button pressed like so. If you press once, you will not get anything, so you have to hold really the right mouse button. And once you hold it, you will get the components of a polygon. So basically UVs are for UV textures, coordinates, so the coordinates of textures over an object. We're gonna explore this deeply later on once we get to knowing in texturing a 3D model and OpenGL as well. We're gonna study the principles how this stuff works. Face, vertex, and edge. Vertex face is a way to select to have some sort of an exploded model like this, so you can select vertices and faces in the same time. Don't do that. Okay, so keep it that way unless you are comfortable with selecting in such way. So basically, right click, hold the right mouse button, and then you can select the edges. So right now I can select edges, and as you can see here I have got a small problem, and this is because probably you don't, guys, you don't have it, because this is because I have something which is called the soft selection is on. So I'll double click on the move here, like so, and I will expand this a little bit. I'll go right down there, and as you can see here, I have soft select is on, so I will turn it off. Okay, and let me close that. And now and as you can see here, I can select edges. Okay, these edges are connected between 2 points, by the way. So if I right click and select vertex, I can see this is 1 point, this is another point, and if I zoom in a little bit so you can see a little bit better, there you go. See, there's the vertex. Now of course some people say, okay, is selecting 2 vertices the same selecting an edge? Yes, but it is much better. In case if you would like to modify in terms of vertices, please modify in terms of vertices. If you would like to modify in terms of edges, then choose edges. But is vertices equivalent to edges? In some situations, yes, like in this case, but sometimes it's not. So that's why you can select edges, or sometimes you can select vertices. Now, and of course, you can select multiple vertices or multiple edges, it depends. So, for example, I can click on one. If I hold on the shift key, I can add to my selection, like so, like so. If I hit the control key, just hold the control key while clicking, I can deselect. Okay. Sometimes it happens to be that shift is working as an invert. People use it like an inversion. So for example, if you hold on the shift key, if you keep just holding it, you can click on another selected, so already selected vertex, or already selected face, or already selected edge, and then once you click on it while holding the shift, it deselects itself again. But this feature is useful in case if you would like to invert the selection. So let's say, for example, I would like to select all the other vertices in that shape except for those ones which I selected. So for example, I would love to select those 4 in the bottom, and in order to make it a little bit better, I will just add more to the height, like so. Okay, so let me select those 4. Okay, and I will show you what did I do here in a second. So if I select all those 4 vertices, if I would like to invert the selection, so I would love to say I will select all the vertices in that object except of those 4. I will hold the shift key, okay, click and drag a marquee around the whole object, in my case, because I would like to select all the vertices other than these 4, and then when you leave the left mouse button, you will deselect those 4 automatically, and automatically you get these all the other vertices selected in your object. So that's why it's quite useful to use the shift as an invert for the selection. This is we're gonna probably see that concept later on once we get to one of our serious modeling tasks. Okay, so there's a small trick for you guys. Now one thing which I promised to show you, you saw me without punching a number, I could add these like 3 subdivisions that you can see here. In fact, there's a very nice feature in Maya. You can actually select the word, so I selected subdivision, and if I middle mouse click, so hold on the middle mouse click, just hold it on without moving. As you can see here, my mouse turned out to 2 arrows, left and right. This is because I can actually move to the left and increase the number, or to the right and decrease the number. Okay, so you can add however much number you need if you want to, and it applies to everything. So you can actually like select the translate with the middle mouse button click, and you can move. You can even select the axis and you start moving it. So you see, it's like start moving it. So it depends on the last selection. So I select the Z, it will move. Also if I select the X like so, it will move. Select the Z like so, with the middle mouse button click and drag, it will move. Okay, so this is one of the tips and tricks here for keyboard shortcut keys. So if you saw me doing something like so, I will try to remember as much as possible, because most of these shortcuts I'm doing it without thinking about them, so I'll try my best to keep track of what I'm doing and explain it to you. Alright, so basically, yeah, I showed you already the vertices, the edges. Let me show you the faces part. So right click and select the face. Now you have the ability to select any face in your polygon. Okay, by the way, I'm holding down the shift key and left mouse button clicking, as you can see. So alt to rotate, alt and left mouse button click to rotate, shift and hold, alt, left mouse button, rotate, shift and click, and so on, so forth. Oops, I selected the NTC button. Okay, now it's fine. Now of course I can have fun here, so I can hit the R key and I could scale out. Right now I am pushing away, now I'm pushing away all the other faces away from me. So this is basically it. So at the end I right click and oh yes, I forgot to tell you about that. Once you finish modifying the components, because you are right now in the component mode of selection, hold down the right mouse button and select the object mode. So right now you can select object. Once I click on it, right now I can play with the object itself. So as you can see here, when I selected the stuff, selected the faces, once I uniformly scale out or non-uniform scaling out, it doesn't matter. Once I scale out, I push actually some certain components of the polygons away, and as you can see here, I get very interesting results. You could actually do the same thing with a sphere. So I clicked on the sphere here, I hold down the shift key and left mouse button click, and we can create a sphere over here. If I want to, I could actually select the vertices, in fact, and I could even select every other one. So click on one, leave one in the middle, shift, hold down the left, hold down shift and click, and select every other one. Okay, left, okay, there's one more over here. Okay, left, okay, and there you go. Okay, so I've got a sphere like that. When I selected even those vertices, if I hit the R key and if I scale out, as you can see, I got quite interesting shapes. Right now it's more like a person with interesting hat, well, a head with an interesting hat or whatever. So basically there are a lot of tricks that you can apply to certain objects that you can end up with very, very interesting interesting results. Okay. Alright, this is for the components of polygons. This is what polygons are all about, just to put it in a simple form. Okay, probably there are other ways and other stuff that you can actually use the polygons or show more other tricks, but in order to make it really simple, this is what all polygons are about. Now there's one more thing. If you press the number 2 on your keyboard, not on the numpad, it is above your Q, I believe, or above your W, depends on how your keyboard is laid out. So it is in the main part of your keyboard under the F1, F2 and F3. If you press the number 2, you get something which is called a smooth preview with a level 2. If I press a smooth preview level 3, so 3, right now this is how the object will look like once it is actually smoothed out. Okay, if you press 1 again, you will get the object again without that preview. Some people were asking me like, okay, once I get this done, is this the last final result of an object? And I say no, because this is only a preview. If I render this, if I go here and click on the render button, and this is the actual object, and as you can see, everything is pointy and this is smooth. So this is only just a preview. This just gives you a sense of how the object will look like once it is smoothed out. Okay? Now let us move forward and show you how to extrude things. So how to extrude a certain object. And before I actually go to there, if you go here and go to the create, by the way, these are not only the primitives which you can use in order to create. For example, we have pyramids, we have toruses. Okay, I have to drag a little bit to increase the radius, so if anybody likes donuts, it's a very thin donut. This is a tube. Okay, hang on. This is a plane, so I believe you can also create. By the way, I'm holding the shift key and dragging right away. This is a cone. Alright, this is a cylinder. As you can see here, it's more like a tube but without the hole in it. And of course we already saw the cube and the sphere. Other ones as well gonna be, if you go to create, you see this dashed line, by the way, on the menu, this dashed line, this allows you to tear off the menu. So if I click on it, I got the menu teared off. Of course the menu is still there, but I just teared it off here just to make it easier for me. So I could actually like click on an object and then click on an option here and keep it just floating. This is actually beautiful because if you have multiple monitors and you are working on some stuff which only exist in the menus, and you are quite lazy, for example, to make a shelf key for it or a shelf button for it to put it here in the shelf, or quite lazy to make a keyboard shortcut key, you could just make the menu float in there, and this is it. And of course this idea applies to everything. Like if you go to polygonal primitives, there you go, every menu in Maya can be tiered off, so you can click on it. There you go, I tiered off the menu. So let me close this, go to create, polygons, primitives, and I will tear off that menu. Okay, now in the sphere, let me just move this, excuse me, in the polygon primitives you have sphere, cube, cylinder, cone, plane, torus, prism. This one is not on the shelf, as you can see here is a prism example. Pyramid, we already have it. Pipe, I believe we already have it. This one is the polygonal pipe. Helix, so it's kind of so this is like you create the number of the spins, you actually specify the radius. By the way, I'm holding the left mouse button click here, so there you go, you get some sort of like a spring-like object. And I selected on a coil, and I can select how much spins do I get, how much height do I need. Now of course everybody will think about an animation or something like that, of course. So basically this is the one. And width and radius, there you go. Okay, subdivision axis and so on is like this, specifying how much roundness it could get. As you can see here, it's blocky, so I could increase the okay, the coil subdivision. So 50 is the 50 along this axis, so right now it's 8 here, so I get 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So I could like increase this a little bit, so I could like make it a little bit roundy, if you know what I'm talking about, if you catch my drift. So right now it's much more round. Of course it's right now huge amount of polygons for the selected one. Right now for the selected, by the way, this is the selected object here. This is the total number of faces in the whole scene here. So the selected object is 5,402 polygons. That's a huge number for such a simple object, I mean. Soccer ball. There you go, for everybody who loves to play soccer or football. I like to call it football. Soccer is for the American people who speak the American language, English variation. Platonic solids, there you go. And of course you can modify many of those properties, like is it I believe dodecahedron and how it's called, isosahedron and octahedrons, and you have as well like tetrahedrons. So this is these are the objects which are available for you for these platonic solids. Of course here in the football you just need to specify the side length and the radius, of course. Now these are all the primitives objects that Maya actually gives you to create, like instead of you building it from scratch. Okay, so so please as well try to explore the menus. Probably there is something more than what is offered in the shelf. Okay, but basically we will not go outside of whatever is offered in the shelf for now. Okay, now we need to modify an object. Now most of the objects, let me show you what I'm talking about here. By the way, this is blender.org. Here you can see a gallery of stuff that has been created using Blender, and as you can see here, although Blender is free and open source, people just created beautiful art out of it, and even beautiful movies. Elephant's Dream is a very beautiful movie, has been created completely using Blender and GIMP. GIMP is the equivalent of Photoshop, by the way. So you have a lot of beautiful artworks like these, and it's like very photorealistic. If you go here in gallery, 2D or 3D, let's grab the 3D part. People making really beautiful characters using a lot of softwares right now. For example, this one, as you can see here, the guy made some sort of a hellish, devilish character. He used Maya, ZBrush, Photoshop, and some other program called 3D Code. ZBrush, by the way, is a program for actually for sculpting, digital sculpting. So you can sculpt quite complex objects, and you can give them very, very interesting features, like, you know, to accurately model like such features, like, you know, as you can see here, muscles and the texture above the muscles and everything. This is done actually through combination between ZBrush and Maya, for instance. There are a lot of interesting, like, exquisite things. The guy here from Venezuela made a very, very interesting kind of fish creature. I don't know if I can move. There you go. So there you go. So he used 3D Max, ZBrush, V-Ray. V-Ray is the renderer, like Mental Ray is just converting the 3D into a 2D image, and Photoshop probably for texturing as well. So basically most of these objects has been created out of polygons, right? And these polygonal objects has been, you know, people started from a single plane or a single cube. Now, how this is actually happening? So let me show you what I'm talking about here. So I will select a cube, shift and lift mouse button click and drag. Now I have a cube over here. Now in order to extract, not extract, because extract is another operation, extrude a cube, you can do the following. So you can extrude two things in a polygonal object. You can extrude a face, and you can extrude an edge. Okay, and I'll show you how both of those work. So right click, hold the right mouse button, choose face. Now you can select whatever face you like. I'm going to select this one. Okay, you have a button over here, it's called extrude. Okay, as you can see here, you see a face like pumping out of or going out of a plane here, sticking out of a plane, in fact. So if I click on it, I get like interesting modifiers, and I get a small circle over here, and I get manipulators that is like for moving out, scaling, and this circle is for rotation. Interesting, right? So let me show you what I'm talking about here. If you would like to, right now I have extruded a face, by the way. Most of people forget that, and they don't see, and then by mistake they click somewhere else and they lose the selection. Okay, and then they don't know what happened, and then they select the face and try to extrude it again. It is not. If you hit the W and you try to move the face, you see it is still there. Okay, but let me show you the right way. Okay, so right now I select the face. By the way, I hit Control Z for undo. So once the face is selected, I will choose extrude, and I will get this very, very interesting manipulator. Now I will ignore those three, just don't look at them for now. But what I want you to focus on is how to use this manipulator. Now if I click and drag with this arrow, and I drag it over here, right now I have moved that face on the side. If I would like to scale, okay, if I would like to scale, hit the cube over here, just click on it once. Right now you activated the scale manipulator. Now you can actually scale from the center, or scale from everywhere, anywhere. And if you would like to go to the moving again, click on the arrow, not on the box, but on the arrow. Once you click on the arrow, as you can see here, can move this thing. If I click on the box and drag, as you can see here, it will start, you know, scaling up. So some people might make mistake and choose actually the cube instead of showing that error. So I will click in the center and drag. As you can see here, I can uniformly scale that face. If I would like to rotate that face, I'll just simply click on the circle once, and as you can see here, I will get my rotation manipulator and can start actually rotating my faces. Okay, I can rotate it in any way I like. See? Now, as you can see here, look at my axes right now. Okay, let me even make it a little bit more dramatic. So there you go. So if you look carefully to my axes here, my y, the world is saying that the y is going up, x is there, and z is shooting out, you know, like from here. But if you look at the face is actually being oriented according to the local coordinates. So what is the face local coordinates are? When I rotated the face, for the face itself, it sees that the up is here, and the z is like so, and the x is like so. Okay? Now sometimes it can cause you some troubles while extruding several faces in the same time. So people usually say, okay, we're gonna click on that little circle over here, and right now I am using the world coordinates in order to modify or move that face. Okay? So this is the difference. So if you click here again, you can go back to the local coordinates again. Alright? Now of course, since Maya 2012 they added these manipulators just to give you amount of subdivisions, you know, which is quite useful. Offset, so how much you can would like to have some sort of like twist to it, and you know, as you can see here, the thickness. Okay, so right now you got very interesting object right now. So if I deselect, so click in the empty space, right click and say object mode. Right now you can select the whole object. Right now I got a very interesting kind of an object. Now with a great power comes great responsibilities, of course. You have to take care about how many polygons you add to your extrusions and how do you extrude your objects. Also, I deleted, by the way, the object using the delete key. Also, there's a very important feature that could be a feature and it could be a curse to you, depends how do you use it. I mean, this is a feature, beautiful feature, but you have to take care when you use it and when not to use it. This feature is called, when you go to the edit mesh, called keep faces together. Now if I click over here to tear off the menu, I'll just put it aside here. Okay. Now I'll go to the side view, and yeah, whatever, side or front, doesn't matter. Now I will go, and by the way, as you can see here, there's no rotation. Alt and left click in the orthographic view will not work because there's no depth, so there's no point in rotating. I mean, yes, you can rotate, but it is not necessary here. So if I right click and choose face, and in fact I will choose this half. So that's why it is quite important to use the side view, because it's orthographic. If I was in the perspective and try to use the side here, probably I will not get as accurate as possible. Well, yeah, okay, because I could do that here. Okay, let me try to, you know, like for example in this view. So you see, as you can see here, because in the perspective it's not that easy to select accurately, okay, the sphere or specific objects, specific components of a polygonal object, or any geometry in here. So that's why I like to go usually to the side view or whatever orthographic view and start doing my selections. So right now I chosen to extrude that quadrant. So if you can see here, keep faces together is checked. So keep it checked. Do not move. Do not choose other things. I will select even those two. And I will hold the shift key. Let me show you another trick. So hold the shift key, right click. As you can see here, I'm in. By the way, I'm in the component mode of a polygonal object, and I selected faces. So shift and right click, and as you can see here, I got other interesting options here. One of them is extrude face. So you can extrude face in several ways. You can actually choose it from the menu, so edit mesh and extrude. You can go here and click on that shell button and you're gonna extrude, or shift and right click and extrude face. It is the basically the same thing. Okay, now I got this beautiful manipulator. I'm gonna drag out. Okay, so this is like for extrusion. I can actually even push it down if I want to, like so. So probably many of you seen documentaries of the Earth crust has been shown, like this is the Earth crust, and then other couple extrusion, and then you can see the core and so on. I believe everybody saw that before. So there you go. Here's an effect for it. Now let us see the counterpart. Let's see what happens if you actually extruded without selecting keep faces together. So I will choose face, and I'm gonna select all of those guys like so. I just don't want to select anybody from the, okay, that's fine. So basically I was making sure that I haven't selected anybody from here. Now I will uncheck keep faces together. Now shift, right click and extrude face, and I will pull actually the y-axis in this case like so. As you can see here, since faces hasn't been kept together, I got this effect. Once the faces are kept together, all of them, they go together. They are not split in that very, very awkward way. So at the end you get very, very interesting shape. I don't know what is it, but it is interesting. So basically this is how this is one of the features of extrusion that you have really to take care about when you are extruding. So please, by default, try to keep faces together on, unless you think that keep faces together will not do you the same job which you are seeking for. Okay, so basically this is all about extrusions for now. Okay, we could talk about extrusions for exploring each part of it and so on and so forth, but not now. I wouldn't explore it right now. Let me quickly show you how to model an airplane, normal passenger airplane. So let us first grab here our internet, and I will choose an airplane, and I will choose here in the images. I'll choose any airplane that it could look a little bit obvious to me, so I can model it without any problems. Alrighty. Okay, I will choose, I will choose this one for now, and then full image size, like so. Okay, so basically I'm gonna model something similar to this one, because I don't have a blueprints, and I'm gonna model it really fast, so that's why I'm not gonna take care or care even about the details. Okay, so I'm gonna just get the body, approximate the body and so on, and then give you how the stuff, show you how the stuff will look like. So basically, in order to do this, by the way, there are millions of ways of getting actually the objects. So the approach could be, there are 101 approaches, there are a lot of them, but the main thing is you have to choose the good approach and the most optimal and the fastest one to get the better or the best object or the most perfect object possible. Okay, this is the idea behind modeling. But for now, while modeling right now in front of you this quick airplane, I'm not gonna even think about any of the I will not even think about the topology very much, or I will not think about a lot of details. I'll just simply make very, very simple airplane that everybody gonna be happy with. So I'm gonna scale, or yeah, probably before scaling I could even give it some sort of a width. Let me see. Yeah, so I select the width and middle click and drag, so I get like elongated kind of cube or rectangle or object. Here I'm gonna add to the width, I'm gonna probably add, let's say, like 2, 3, because usually in passenger airplanes you get like the wings actually sticking out from the middle, and of course we're gonna have to modify that. Of course the airplane is quite taper from the front, but I will not do anything about that later. So basically I'm gonna collapse this by clicking here, so I get all the modeling view in front of me. Now by the way, do not add details and then model. Add details as much as you need while modeling. So build up your objects. Do not put, okay, I need like 1000 polygons right now because I'm going to modify each one of them. This is a wrong idea. Try to build them, you know, piece by piece, and add details once you are going further and further. It's called the incremental way of working with things. So let me see here. Now shift, or without shift, right click and choose vertices. Now apparently, as far as I can see here, this section in the middle, I would like it to make it bigger, so that's why I selected the vertices here. So click and drag, and shift and click and drag. So I selected those 8 vertices, or sorry, not 8, there are 16, because 4, 4, 8, 4, 4, 8, so 16. As you can see here, in that column I got 16 vertices selected. If you don't have that heads-up display in front of you, go to display, heads-up display, and poly count. Okay, so display, heads-up display, poly count. Now I'm gonna scale these guys out. Oops, not that way. Okay, let me try to do this then. I will select only the 4 here, scale them out like so, because once scaling them out they uniformly go from each direction, and I will make sure that the distance from here to here is the similar from distance to from here to here. So I'll not make it that big, like something like so. Okay, now I will select all of these 4. I'm gonna move them out, and I would like them to stretch as well. I don't care, so I would like to stretch them like so. Now looking to the airplane from the front, the airplane are much more rounded, you know, kind of polygonal objects. And of course some of you would go right here and would like to add a line along this polygonal object, so go here and select object mode. Now I need a line here going to the center, maybe 2, and people will go, okay, I will go here in the inputs and I will increase the height, for instance. Now once you increase the height, you know, sometimes you get very, very awkward effect, so please do not do that. Once you modify the topology of your polygon, and topology means how the edges flow and how edges and vertices are located around the object. Once you modify that, do not touch the inputs anymore. In fact, once you modify this, you go into edit, delete by type, and history. Once you do that, this part actually disappears, so the inputs are no longer there. Okay, now excuse me. So let me select here my, okay, this is selected. Now how do I add a loop, edge loop around this object? So shift right click while you are in the object mode. As you can notice here, right click object mode, shift and right click, and say insert edge loop tool. Once I do that, I can start adding an edge. So click and drag over a vertical edge, and you can add an edge right there. Probably I'll hit the W and try to move it down a little bit more. Okay, so make it a little bit in the center. Alright, so once we have this in place, I will go and right click and select vertices. Now I will try to make it a little bit rounded as possible. Right now it's going to look awkward, but I will click and drag from the front. As you can see here, I just put it on the front like so, and when I click and drag, I selected all the vertices in the top, and I will click and drag here as well, a little bit like so, to select all the vertices in the bottom, and I left all the vertices in the middle, so all the vertices in the middle are not selected. Hit the R key and then try to scale them a little bit inwards like so. Yep. Now right click, go to object mode. Now I would like to make my plane not so squarish from the top. I would like to make it a little bit kind of how can I say, kind of rounded from the top. So shift right click again while I was in the object mode, and then select insert edge loop tool. And here I'm gonna add one more guy here, like so, in the middle. W, hit the W key to exit out of that inserting edge loop tool, and right click and choose vertices, and then click and drag a small, like so, small like marquee, in order to select all the vertices. And as you can see here, I selected the wrong one, so I hit Control and deselect. So I selected all the vertices along this top. I would like to select all the vertices in the same place as well, so I'm gonna shift click and drag, and I selected as well some wrong vertices, so Control click to deselect, shift click to add. So I hope I haven't missed anyone, and I haven't selected anyone by mistake. This one is not. So all of them has been selected. Now I hit R to scale them out a little bit upwards, like so. So right now my airplane is a little bit roundish. Right click and choose object mode. If I press the, I hit the W by the way, if I press the 3 key, this is how it looks like. This is how the smooth preview. Now of course there's gonna be a little bit modifications to this object, so don't worry, it will not look like that. Also, by the way, there are some people, I mean usually we model half of the object and then mirror it on the other side, so it will look like, you know, so it will be identical to it. I'm not doing that here. As I told you, I'm not gonna look out for every detail and so on and so forth. This we're gonna do it, I'm gonna show you the right approaches to everything once we get to our serious modeling task. For now, I'm showing you how to have fun on your leisure time or your free time, just to learn how to model and just play with the objects for a while. Okay, now let's do some extrusions. So I will select face over here. I'll select all these 4 faces, and shift right click and extrude. And right now I'm gonna move these faces in. I'm gonna click on this little box over here, and I'm gonna scale it right down like so. Well, in fact, I'm not that very happy with it, but yeah, I'm gonna modify it later. So I'm gonna actually move this right so. Oh yes, because I inverted it. I have to like scale, and please do not make these guys, make these squares go inverted, okay? Try your best not to do that. So I'm gonna, oops, let me see, is there's one of those guys which can help me out here? Oh, there you go, I can do that from here. So let me undo that part, and let me actually control the offset a little bit, like so. So right now I scaled it a little bit down, and I will move these faces a little bit away. And our airplanes usually are not pointing out like so, they are a little bit down, but as well as there's still curvature. To be honest with you, I'm gonna use even the manipulator from here. I'm gonna add one more subdivisions like so, or 2, so 3 subdivisions, 1, 2, 3, and I will even take it time and even scale it like so a little bit, okay, and deselect. Now I've got a very interesting shape over here. I will select, right click, choose vertices, select those 4 corners because they are sticking out in a very straight edgy lines. I will hit R, scale them down a little bit to make it roundish. Probably select those guys too, these 2, scale them inwards a little bit to make them like a little bit, you know, smoother. And even I could go here to the vertices. I'll just select the top ones, hit W key, and move them up a little bit, like so, like so. And I will grab even those and I will move them even down a little bit, like so. Okay? And you can have fun as well and just simply take this point and I don't know, just push it out a little bit. like so. Okay, so right click and object mode, select this thing and hit 3. So right now we have something a little bit similar to an airplane from the front. Of course it's quite thin from the sides, but it's okay. I could like hit R and try to, you know, give it some thickness over here so it can be a little bit roundish, like. Okay, airplanes, by the way, usually are not that very like so. They are a little bit, you know, how can I say, they have a bump in the bottom. As you can see here, they are a little bit, you know, going a little bit up here and going a little bit up there. So we're gonna try to have something similar. So I'm gonna grab, in fact, you can actually even have fun and grab the edges right away. So I'm gonna grab the edges here. As you can see, I haven't chosen the vertices, but it's pretty much the same. In fact, I'm gonna deselect this one, or yeah, I'm gonna use it, doesn't matter. W and move it a little bit down. Deselect those two and deselect this one and move this guy a little bit up, like so. Probably I'm gonna move this guy a little bit up too, like so. So to have this like some sort of a bulge. In fact, I'm gonna choose the vertex here. I'm gonna choose this vertex and move it a little bit down to make it, you know, smoother kind of transition as well here, like so. Okay, so we have something. So right click, object mode, hit the 3 key, and we have something going on here. So as you can see here, it's like, you know, tapers in, out. Okay, now let us try to add this end over here for the tail. So I'm gonna grab these 4 faces, 1, 2, 3, 4. Shift right click, and before I do that, I feel that I've selected something wrong. Control click to deselect that, so I'm 100% sure right now that my faces are okay, and move a little bit up, and offset is going to be a little bit smaller, and move it a little bit away, like so. Okay, now I'm going to select the vertices here. I'm going to move them, I hit the W key, I'm going to move them way up, like so. I'm going to move these guys as well a little bit up, and a little bit up over here. So we're going to have some sort of a smooth transition. Now again, here comes the topology and edge flow, but I will not talk about it right now here. But I'm going to select those two, and since you see this one moves like upward, I'm going to try to match it a little bit. Okay, so both of them moved up just a tad, nothing more. And even I'm going to select these 4 vertices, try to move them a little bit away, a little bit up, or yeah, somewhere like this. And I am going to grab this small vertex and just simply move it away like so. Okay, so when I hit the 3 key, once I go to the object mode 3, as you can see here, I've got some sort of the body right now. Again, I know it doesn't look very similar to it, but I'm trying to have something real quick here, not spending a lot of time on thinking about it. Right click, choose faces, because airplanes usually are having their wings are just popping out from the bottom, like this one. You see, just it's going out from the bottom of the airplane. You can shift right click and extrude face. Now here's the thing, I could, as you can see, I've selected these 2 faces. Now I can in fact offset them a little bit, not that very much, offset a little bit more, like so, and look at it. You see, I got identical kind of faces over here. Now I would like to extrude again. Okay, so I'll hit the G key, G for repeating the command, not repeating the tool, repeating the command, so G. Right now I'm going to have another extrude, and I will push down, and push even more down, and let me pull up, and as you can see here, I've got a problem. This is because I'm pushing in the local coordinates. Now in order to fix that, here comes the world coordinate thing, so I'm gonna click over that icon. Now I can actually move them all up as I wanted to. Scale them away apart from each other. And the airplanes, usually they have their wings a little bit to the back, so that's what I'm gonna do, to the back, like so. And even I'm gonna scale these faces down a little bit, like so. Okay, so even let me move them even a little bit to the backward. Yeah, somewhat like this. I know that they are a little bit big according to the body, but hey, I'm not even looking at it. Let me see how it looks like here. Whoa, it's too bad. It's really at the very far back. Okay, let me just put it like so. Or probably I can just simply put it like so. And right click, choose vertices, and I will choose these vertices and simply move it a little bit to the back and a little bit to the back, so we have something like a little bit balanced. I really don't know. I mean, don't have a blueprint, so basically I'm just doing it from out of my mind. Okay, so we got the wings. I know that there are not details, detailed, and I'm not planning to do so. So 2, 3. Oops, that's F1, F2. And I have actually pressed the F1 key for my guide. And this is the help. Opa, Control Shift T. By the way, my help is great. Just explore it, you guys, but for now I'm just focusing here on the airplane. So let me grab, oops, sorry, airplane here. Okay, so I'm gonna grab, I'm gonna hit 3 for now. Let me see how it looks like, and it looks interesting. So let me try to make this a little bit feasible for you guys. So I'm gonna hit the 1 key. I'm gonna add edge loops over here to hold the primitive, and I'm gonna show you right now how. So insert edge loop, and I'm gonna insert 1 here, insert 1 at the end, like so. I know that the model is not perfect. It's okay. I didn't mean it to be, so I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes only. You can have fun a lot while doing this. So. And even I'm gonna put 1 in the middle here, put 1 in the middle here, just to hold the geometry a little bit. Hit W key and go in object mode, press the 3 button, and right now I get a little bit, you know, roundy here. It just holds a little bit the geometry instead of just simply collapsing it all together. Okay. Of course the wings has to be thicker and much better, but again, I'm not looking at it. So right now let us add the tail. So the tail, as you can see, it's really huge piece, and the most important piece in the airplane, of course. So I'm gonna just shift right click in while everything is deselected, shift and right click and choose polycube, and I can just simply shift and click, and as you can see here I've got polycube. I'm gonna just move it right about here, move it up a little bit, scale it down completely like so, and move it here, probably even scaling it a little bit here, a little bit up. I'm gonna try to move it a little bit up as well, scale it probably even more up, and let me move it right there. Now of course the the tail of the airplane doesn't look like so. So basically we're gonna scale down. So I selected these 4 vertices in the top, scale them down and move them like so. Let me see how the, yeah, exactly. So basically this is it. I could even make them a little bit closer like so, so they can appear like, you know, a little bit thicker. Probably I'm gonna have to make it a little bit taller back or so. And probably I'm gonna grab these 2 at the bottom. Of course I'm not seeing them, but since I had this polygon selected, this right now altered tail cube thing selected, I can like select here, and I will not select the plane, but I'm going to select the vertices. I can move it a little bit to the front, just to make it look a little bit bigger. Okay, so looking by the eye, it's somehow proportional. Looks okay to the airplane. Now I'm gonna grab the same cube, hit the Control D key, and only once, and I move it. Right now I've got the duplicate. Now I can actually scale this thing down, rotate it on the side, like so. In fact, I will hit Control A because right now I'm in the attribute editor. By the way, Control A will give you the channel box. Control A again will give you the attribute editor. So Control A, you know, it depends how you use them. It will give you the channel box alternating with the attribute editor. Rotate X, I'm gonna rotate it around 90 degrees, and as you can see here, I'm gonna hit the W key, move this little guy over here, just tuck it in, nothing else. Let me see how that, oh okay, it's a little bit bigger than I thought. It reaches somehow, it like starts where the tail ends, if I didn't make a mistake, and it ends somewhere after the half of the way. So basically I'm gonna move it a little bit here. Vertices, I'm gonna move these vertices, these group of vertices right in the front, right there. Okay, so basically this is it. Right click, object mode. Now I'd like to have it on the other side, so Control D. Now I have it there, it's selected, just do not do anything. If I hit 180 degrees, sorry, 360, or, hang on, I have made a mistake. So basically I have to rotate it around the x-axis like so. Oh, sorry, it's minus 90 degrees, yeah, there you go, minus 90 degrees. How come I missed that? So hit the W key and move. There you go. Of course I didn't care about the angle, probably I angulate a little bit upward or downwards, but I don't care right now about this. So right now we have the airplane. I could come over here and add a little bit to it, so shift right click, add insert edge loop tool, so it can hold the geometry a little bit, like so and like so. Okay, add hit W key, hit Y to repeat the tool, Y key. Okay, so there you go, I've added one more here, one more there, one more to this side, one more to the other side, and I will select this one, Y to repeat the tool, add one more edge here, add one more edge to the end, and one more here, one more there. I don't care about the accuracy right now, but right now if I hit the because if I hit the 3 preview, so you can see how the preview looks like. Okay, probably I need to push this a little bit down, and 3 again. So we got ourselves a very nice airplane. Now some of you would like to say, okay, how can we put this all together? So there are several ways of doing it. The best way, select all of them, okay, all of these pieces, hit Control G to group, and I'm gonna call this group as airplane. And as you can see here, if I hit the E key, I could rotate it a little bit, so it seemed like it's an airplane that is taking off. So right now I selected one piece, but if I hit the arrow up key, right now I can actually even move the airplane a little bit up, a little bit here. So here is your very ultra simple airplane, that the simplest thing that you could ever do or make on your own free time. I hope that you're gonna make better objects, okay? And I will consider that the part for introduction to polygons and polygonal modeling is the introduction part is done, and later on we're gonna see how we can actually model even much more complex models in the upcoming lessons. Okay, so thanks a lot for your attention. See you in the next lessons.